Ever seen those tempting, like, $1 domain registration deals? And maybe wondered if they're, too good to be true.
Or, yeah, if you can just grab one cheap and immediately flip it over to your usual provider.
Exactly.
Well, that's precisely what we're diving into today, those super cheap first-year domains. Think IONOS, places like that.
Right.
And that often misunderstood 60-day transfer lock that ICANN mandates.
Okay, so what are we basing this on? Registrar policies.
Yeah, we've sifted through registrar policies, looked at the actual ICANN guidelines, basically trying to get you the essential info.
On the mission.
Really, just to clarify, can you actually get a domain for about $1? And what's the real catch with transferring it out quickly?
Okay, let's start there. These $1 deals, IONOS, Namecheap, GoDaddy, Porkbun, they're real offers.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely real. Lots of registrars do these promos, usually around $1, maybe slightly more for the first year.
And it's for specific domain types, right? Not just anything.
Exactly. Often for things like .com, .org, maybe .info, but also loads of the newer ones like store, .link, .xyz. I've even seen .mom, .uip.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, .cu, .pw, .website. The list goes on.
So why do they do it? It can't just be, kindness.
Huh. No, definitely not. They're loss leaders, basically.
Yeah.
Designed to pull you in as a new customer.
Get you on their platform.
Right. The hope is you'll stick around and pay the typically much higher renewal rates later on.
And there are usually strings attached.
Always. Well, almost always. Specific TLDs, like we said, sometimes limits on how many you can grab. Maybe you need a promo code. And it's always just for that first year.
Okay. And I think you mentioned something before. The dollar price isn't always the final checkout price.
Correct. You've nearly always got the mandatory ICANN fee on top. It's small, currently 18 cents.
Ah.
So that $1 domain is actually, $1.18 or thereabouts. Still cheap, but not quite a flat dollar.
Got it. Cheap entry, but maybe higher cost down the line.
Yeah.
So what about moving it? If I grab one cheap, can I transfer it straight away? That 60-day lock?
Ah, yes, the unavoidable part. ICANN policy. Plain and simple. Newly registered domains cannot be transferred to another registrar for the first 60 days, period.
Why, though? Is it just to keep you locked in?
Well, the stated reason, and it's a legitimate one, is security. It's primarily there to prevent unauthorized transfers, domain hijacking.
Okay, that makes sense. But I've heard people talk about opting out of a 60-day lock sometimes.
Right, and this is where the confusion often comes in. There is a different 60-day lock that can happen if you, say, change the registrant contact information on an existing domain.
Okay.
And for that specific lock related to info changes, sometimes the losing registrar might offer an opt-out. But, and this is the key point,
Yes.
that opt-out absolutely does not apply to the initial 60-day lock that starts the second you register a new domain.
So 0 exceptions for a brand new registration. If I get a domain at GoDaddy today, I can't move it to, say, Porkbun for 2 months.
Exactly. Doesn't matter the registrar, Namecheap, GoDaddy, Porkbun, Dynadot, Hostinger, even Cloudflare. They all enforce this ICANN rule for new registrations. No opt-out available.
Okay, crystal clear on that then. Get the deal, but you're staying put for 60 days. So beyond that initial price, what else should you be thinking about?
The long game. Seriously, look at the renewal rates. That amazing first-year price can feel pretty different when year 2 rolls around and the cost jumps significantly.
Right. That $1.18 could become, what, $15, $20 easily for renewal?
Easily, depending on the TLD and the registrar, so that initial saving might get eaten up pretty fast.
Are there alternatives, registrars who don't play the promo game quite so much?
Yeah, definitely. A good example is Cloudflare Registrar. Their whole model is different. They offer domains at cost.
At cost, meaning?
Meaning they charge you what they pay the registry for the domain, plus that mandatory ICANN fee. No extra markup from them.
So, more predictable pricing year after year.
Exactly. A .com might be, say, around $9.77 to $10.44 currently, including the fee. And crucially, the renewal price is the same.
Interesting. So maybe not the super low entry, but potentially cheaper overall if you plan to keep the domain.
That's the trade-off. Transparency and consistent pricing versus that initial low promo price. It depends on your priorities.
Is there a catch with Cloudflare?
The main one is you have to use their name servers,
Yeah.
which, if you're already using their CDN or other services, might actually be a plus. Integration benefits.
Okay, makes sense. So let's boil this down for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Key takeaways.
Number 1, yes, you can absolutely find those really cheap, like dollar-ish first-year domain deals. They are out there. Number 2, you absolutely positively cannot transfer that shiny new domain to another registrar for at least 60 days. No way around that ICANN rule for new registration.
And finally,
Number 3, think long-term. Is that initial buck or two saving worth potentially much higher renewal fees down the road? Or does a more transparent at-cost model like Cloudflare's make more sense for you?
right, it's about looking beyond that initial sticker price.
Totally. Understanding the promo appeal, but also the reality of the transfer lock and renewal costs is, well, it's crucial for making smart choices.
So here's a final thought then. Given that some registrars offer that super low entry cost, but everyone enforces that 60-day lock, maybe it makes sense to think of those first 2 months as a kind of probation period or test drive with that initial registrar.
That's an interesting way to frame it. A forced 60-day trial, almost. Something to definitely consider next time you're registering a domain.